Good evening, or good morning, District 8. Welcome. I'm excited to be your host on this virtual journey, and I'm really excited about our speaker, Peter Tartaro. Your journey as a speaker or leader is a long road with plenty of great experiences ahead, along with some periods of uncertainty. A rest area is a perfect place to rest, refocus, and rejuvenate yourself. On your journey toward a destination of distinction, the right fuel will get you there confidently. Today, you will learn the fuel framework for giving and seeking high-octane feedback. I'm pleased to welcome Peter Tartaro. Peter.
What's the first thing you do when you pull into a rest area? Do you look for the first open gas pump to fuel up your car? Or do you look for some fresh area to fuel up your lungs? Or a snack to fuel up your stomach? As speakers and leaders, a rest area is a great place for us to fuel up on learning by filling ourselves up with the right fuel, feedback. Asking for and receiving feedback will help you go the extra mile towards your destinations of distinction. And after all, that's why we're here today. So I will now all right. Driving towards any destination of distinction in Toastmasters, be it winning a speech contest or achieving a distinguished club, area, division, or district award, or the coveted distinguished Toastmaster designation, is a long journey and always requires a few rest stops along the way. In my own journey as a speaker and leader, I found that seeking out high-octane feedback, no matter the task, has always helped me get closer to my goals as a speech contestant in District 106 and as a club president. So today, you'll learn the feedback framework that's fueled me. That's right. We're going to take a brief rest stop. We'll discuss the fuel feedback framework, put that fuel into our tanks, and finally, we'll look at how we can use it to fuel us as club and district leaders. So to understand the framework and let's start with how it applies to you as a speaker. In the chat, and I'd love to be as dynamic and as interactive as possible this morning. So in the chat, please type in what you think the most important skill a speaker needs. What's the most important skill a speaker needs? In the chat. I see some coming in. To be funny, focus. Listening, flexibility. Or is it their posture? Or is it their writing? Connecting with the audience, capturing attention, dynamic, great things coming into the chat. All of them are excellent answers. For me, the most important skill a speaker needs is to connect with their audience. So now in the chat, please put in, what do you think are some good ways for you to connect with your audience as a speaker? What are some ways to connect with your audience? I see humor, eye contact, jokes, positive energy, asking questions, friendliness, eye contact, looking around the room if we were in a real room. Otherwise, on a Zoom room, looking around the room means looking into the camera. All right, common experience is excellent. Now let's flip the chat for a second. As a leader, what do you think the most important skill a leader needs? Empathy, active listening, compassion, empathy, and model ethically. Some great examples, leading by example, purpose. For me, I would summarize all these amazing answers by saying it's actually very similar to a speaker connecting with their members. And that's why when I think about framework and I think about the fuel framework, the F for me is focus. Am I focused on connecting with my audience, connecting with my club members, connecting with my customers at work or my family here at home? Am I focused on connecting with them as much as I possibly can? The U in fuel refers to uplifting, as in, whatever I'm saying or however I'm leading, is it uplifting? Or asked another way, is there anything about what I'm doing right now that you like? What do you like about this presentation? What do you like about our leadership team? The E in the framework refers to enhancements, or how can I do even better? How can I do a better job as a speaker? How can I serve you as a leader and do an even better job? The L, the final piece of this framework, stands for learning more. After I've asked, what can I do to be better? What else? What else? I'd like to learn even more. What else can I do to be a better speaker? What else can I do to be a better leader? This question I really love because it allows your audience, if you're a speaker, it allows your audience to tell you exactly what they'd like to hear from you. And as a leader, it allows your club to tell you exactly how they'd like you to serve them. So now how do we use this? If this is the framework, how do we put it into action? And for me, the best way to do that is by asking some simple and specific questions. So now let's see, what are some questions that we could ask for focus? When I think about focus as a speaker, the question I love to ask my audience is, what's my message and why is it valuable? What's my message and why is it valuable? You know, we write speeches with purpose, and asking our audience if they can discern what the message is of that speech is a great way to see if we're connecting what's in my heart and mind is connecting with the audience's heart and mind. Are we on the same wavelength? What's my message and why is that valuable? For you, uplifting, that's a pretty easy question to ask. What'd you like about my speech? What was terrific? What were the high points for you? E. I can hardly spell this morning. E for enhancements. What can be improved? Let's get right to the point and ask every single time, how can I get better? We as speakers know every speech we write is never perfect. There's always something we can do better. As leaders, our leadership journey is never complete. There's always something we can do better. So what can I improve for today, for tomorrow? And then the L question, learning more. What additional comments do you have? All right, let's practice. We're gonna do some practice this morning, giving some fuel feedback. Now I've actually created a form that you can use to practice filling. And in what you'll see here on the screen is a QR code. So for those of you who are fans of mobile, feel free to click the QR code you see on the screen or type in another browser the URL that you see in the screen. Or for those of you who'd like it even easier, in the chat, I just dropped in that URL that you see on the screen, the bit.ly/feedbackfuel. So 3 different ways to access our practice session. And when you click on the link or type in the URL or scan the QR code, what you'll find are the 4 fuel questions. So now that we've had a chance to open up the fuel form, here's what we're going to do. In the next few minutes, we'll screen a speech that I've recorded. It's a just-in-time speech. It's not a final destination, but it's one that could be work towards some journey of distinction. And here's your assignment. Watch carefully for strengths and areas of improvement. After we screen the speech, we'll have some time to practice filling out the feedback form. Now, as a public service announcement for anyone who might be watching this workshop via recording or live stream, you're also welcome to practice as well. I will leave this form active for you to add your thoughts. Simply scan the QR code or type the link that you see into your browser. Why won't she sleep? I tried everything to get our baby to sleep. Feeding, singing. I even made her an offer she couldn't refuse. How's $100? She refused. Little Nora was now crying louder than an hour ago when my wife cried. Why won't she sleep? For 6 months, as first-time parents, we struggled with Nora. Those nights, we felt very little joy as we held our little bundle. Then one morning at work, it all came to a head. I fell asleep by the coffee machine. A fellow new dad, well-rested Willie, woke me gently and whispered, "Hey, I'm with you." Then he handed me a piece of paper. "Call this number." And he walked away. In my sleep-deprived state, I slipped the paper in my pocket, wondering, where's my coffee? That night, I'll never forget. I call it Black Friday, because getting Nora to sleep was such a struggle. My wife was pulling her hair out after 2 hours, and none of my bribes could get Nora to go the bleep to sleep. Has some struggle ever left you feeling so alone? The next morning, staring at my coffee cup, I remembered that piece of paper, wondering, where are my pants? My wife found them in the freezer. So I defrosted the phone number. My wife grabbed the phone, and together we called the number. A warm voice whispered, "Hello, this is Mary, the baby whisperer." We shared our struggle, praying she could make a difference. And after a pregnant pause, Mary whispered, "Hey, I'm with you. And with my plan, your baby will sleep like a baby." Well, that was an offer we couldn't refuse. First, Mary sent us a short questionnaire. 267 questions? At night, does dealing with your baby resemble a high-stakes negotiation? Yeah, one we always lose. Who cries more at night, your baby or you? Next question. How would you describe a great night's sleep for your baby? What is this, table topics? But from our answers, Mary conceived a sleep plan. She said, to sleep, Nora's going to need some help. And you're going to help her with 3 wonderful words. Now, this plan was simple. For my wife, she got to sit in a cozy recliner watching chick flicks on Netflix. Oh, after negotiating with Nora all night and working all day, she earned it. And pretty soon, my wife was snoring. But I got to sit in the dark, awake, next to the crib, in a cozy metal folding chair, listening to Nora cry. No scrolling my phone, no scratching an itch, and no napping. All I could do was pat Nora's back gently every few minutes and whisper, "Daddy's with you." So naturally, everything itched, everything ached, and despite Nora's crying, I could barely stay awake. Then, just when I wanted to give up on gentle, I heard the cutest baby snores ever. I mean, not that my wife's aren't, but, you know. longest 3.5 hours of my life. During our next call, Mary said, listen, to get to sleep sooner, Nora needs to know you care. Don't just say the words, act on them. So the next night, back in my cozy chair, Daddy's with you. 1 hour later, baby snores. Who knew she could be Nora the Snorer? Night 3, 40 minutes. Night 4, 15 minutes. And I was snoring even before my wife. Mary was proud. During our last call, she said, Nora now sleeps like a baby because you showed her you care. You acted on the 3 wonderful words. Makes all the difference. About a month later, I got to work early. I mean, that's what happens when you're well rested. But I saw Willie at his desk, stressed, after working all night on a big end of the year presentation. So guess what I did? I pulled up a chair and whispered, hey, I'm with you. And 1 hour later, we gave birth to a beautiful presentation and put Willie's worries to sleep. I'm with you. 3 wonderful words, the offer you can make that few can refuse. I'm with you through the sadness. I'm with you through the struggles, the fears, the tears, the sleepless nights. You're not alone. Whether it's a loved one, a colleague, or even a stranger. And whether their struggle is at home, at work, or in life, I'm with you brings comfort. I'm with you puts worries to sleep. My friends, you can make all the difference in the world. When you act on the 3 wonderful words, I'm with you. Adam Toastmaster. All right. Let us now take the next 60 seconds, and I'll have a timer here with some music to fill out the feedback form by clicking on the link in the chat or again, scanning the QR code that you see on the screen. And please be as completely honest and as high octane as possible. The journey I took and described was long. It took a lot of feedback to get to where we got with baby Nora, but would love to hear your feedback as well. And the timer will start now. All right, let's finish up our final thoughts. I'll stop sharing the screen, and this way we can process the feedback process itself together. All right, let's go back to the chat. I'm curious, how did it feel to have a form to give high octane feedback rather than having to come up with any surface level or what I sometimes call low octane feedback? What was it like to have a form to be able to fill out for? Yeah, I see some helpful, easier with a prompt. Easy, great, constrained. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, asking 4 questions could be constraining, right? It narrows down the feedback, but structured as well. Help focus on the strengths and the weaknesses. Very concise form. Yeah, all great thoughts. Let's practice one of the questions. Very intentional. I love it. I love it. I'm curious, what could be improved about that speech that you just watched in the video? What could be improved? What's one thing that could be improved? I'll go first. Certainly the camera angles could certainly be improved. The lighting in the space could certainly be improved. Oh, adding some statistics about the importance of speech in the call to action. Excellent. A picture of the baby. Yeah, no, my daughter Nora she was a beautiful baby. She's an even more beautiful 8-year-old who's out in the other room. Ooh, zooming in so you can't see the door. That's right. There's some great feedback I had gotten once that said having a door in the background distracts your audience because they might be thinking about who might walk through that door, even if there's nobody back there and it doesn't move. But that could certainly take away. Yeah, maybe make the background more cozy. All great ideas for feedback. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, I'll talk about one other item for anyone in the meeting here who's interested in the International Speech Contest. There is a new judging ballot. I don't know that you've seen it or that it's made lots of news. It certainly hasn't really been talked about much in District 106. The criteria themselves are the same, but some of the weightings have changed with particular emphasis on speech originality, the message, and the importance of it. So, and I know District 8 has a rich history of contestants. And so if you're looking to be just like Pamela Rodney and in the finals of the World Championship of Public Speaking, I'd humbly submit the Fuel framework could help you hone in and advance your speech and take and make them their own. One note I did want to share that came from a very good question. What's the best way to collect feedback? Once upon a time before COVID, it was easy to have the Fuel framework questions typed out on a one-pager and hand them out as I was walking up to a lectern. But now with virtual meetings taking precedence and more folks having access to computers and laptops and mobile devices that are connected and wired to the internet, what I found is it's even easier to collect feedback virtually. So today, as by way of example, I used a Google form with a free bit.ly URL condenser to make it easy for you to type into a browser. Now, if anybody has a Google Drive account, it's really easy. You can create a Fuel feedback form in seconds and then have it live on your drive. For those of you that have Microsoft 365 accounts, I've used Microsoft Forms in the past and love them as well. Same process, very quick and easy to create a form. And it also allows you to add fancier backgrounds to it. And also SurveyMonkey is a tried and true program out there. What's great is all 3 of those programs allow you to collect feedback and have it organized by question. So this way, depending on what area of the Fuel you want to work on, you can hone in and really look at all the answers concisely as opposed to leafing through one page at a time. Okay, leaders out there, now's the chance for us to do some brainstorming real quick. If you could ask a focus question to your club, what are some focus questions? How can you ask a question to see if you're connecting with your club in the chat? One question I like to ask when I'm asking my club is, what are our club goals? But what are some other questions? Are you meeting your goals? Oh, I love it. I love it. Are you meeting your goals? How do you see this club helping you? Oh, great question. What else? What are some other questions? Yeah, are you seeing value in the club? Have you set goals? Love it. Lots of you-focused, member-focused questions. Sometimes as a way to check in, I like to ask the question, what are our club goals? What are our club goals? Because if they can share them back with me, then it might mean that my vision as a leader has connected with their hearts as club members. What are some questions, leaders, for you to ask to see if you're being uplifting to your members?
Recording in progress.
Yeah, what makes you come back? Great question. I see that it's been hard. Yeah, would you refer someone to our club? Great. Another great question. What would be a great way to ask some high quality enhancements needed? Feedback. Ooh, how's the energy today? Terrific. Enhancements needed feedback. How could we improve? Yeah. What's working? What could be better? Yeah. I had one leader ask a club that I was in if we could fast forward and see that there were 30 members in our club, what would we have done differently to get to that point? Yeah, what would make it better? Even better if would you take on a leadership role? Excellent. And lastly, what else would we want to learn about from our club members? See what I did there? Learn more feedback. What else would we like to learn from our members? What could we ask? Yeah, are you overwhelmed by additional Toastmasters duty? Can we adjust your expectations? Wow. Some great questions, really great questions. So the purpose of that exercise is hopefully folks can capture these questions in the chat if you're looking to go back to your club and ask them for some high octane feedback. This list that we've brainstormed right here is a great way to a great set of questions for you to put into your own fuel forms and hand out or send out virtually during your next club meeting. Now, we've taken a really brief detour into the rest stop this morning. If you or your club would love to talk more or practice giving and receiving some feedback in a workshop setting, I'd be happy to join you in a club meeting or for a workshop. And what I'll do when we finish is I'll drop my email in the chat. Always happy to help out fellow Toastmasters. Just this past week, I was at a corporate event where someone asked me about Toastmasters and what made us unique. And I shared that in our meetings, we've got evaluations for everyone. All of our speakers are evaluators, our role holders, our table topicers. And the promise of every meeting is that everyone gets to learn and grow, which to me sounds like the perfect rest stop. And more than a few of the folks that I was chatting with, they were impressed with us, with you. It takes really hard work to write a speech. It takes really hard work to be a leader. And I'm really proud of you for taking on that challenge. Today's a great day to pull over into the rest area and fuel up your minds on with all of the great content on today's TLI agenda and to fuel your confidence with some high octane feedback. Feedback, I believe, that will carry you to your destinations of distinctions. Thank you.